episode of 1923 Main Street.
Home of everything to do with travel in style. We are your hosts.
I am Mike Braddock.
And I'm Amelia Braddock. And today, Disney Halloween parties. Should you wear a costume or should you just blend in?
Yes, this is for all our Disney travelers this week. It is that time of year again where the Halloween parties are sparking up.
Where Disney starts fall absurdly early.
Yeah, at both Disneyland and Walt Disney World. It's crept a little earlier at each resort. We've gone to these parties a lot over the years, and the question has been cropping up again. If it's your first time going to either one of these, either the Oogie Boogie Bash at Disneyland or Disney California Adventure, technically, or Mickey's Not-So-Scary Halloween Party at the Magic Kingdom, should you wear a costume? People want to know. Is everybody wearing costumes? Do I need to wear a costume? Will I feel out of place if I don't wear a costume? Or if I do wear a costume?
I think there's a lot of different elements to these because obviously you have a lot of different kinds of Disney travelers. Another thing I will note is usually at Disney World and Disneyland, if you are over the age of 14, you're not able to wear a full-on costume at any other time than during the Halloween party.
And actually, that's a good point. I want to say this straight up front. Disney does have rules about costumes and specifically around adults, but really there's some general rules. So we're not going to go into all of that today. If you are going to a Halloween party, go to the respective Disney website for whichever party you're going to and look at their costume guidelines, because they have been known to stop people at the gate or ask you to change something. You don't want to go through all that. It's sort of common sense stuff, but so just make sure that caveat we will say up front. Check the costume guidelines just to be sure nothing is surprising. And if you're wondering if this is appropriate, it's probably not.
Yeah.
So
it is, at the end of the day, still a Disney Halloween party. So
yeah, exactly.
Let's be keeping that in mind.
All right. So we've got that out of the way. And people, the question is really, it's funny because it's from both sides. If you've never been to one of these parties, will I feel out of place if I'm not all dressed up? Or I get the same question. Will I feel out of a place if I am all dressed up and nobody else is? So the answer is no to both of those. You won't. You won't feel out of place if you do dress up, and you won't feel out of place if you don't dress up. And let's go into it in a little bit more detail.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you do decide to dress up, it provides a lot of fun opportunities that, like I said, you wouldn't get any other night throughout the year at Disney because of their guidelines with specifically adults wearing costumes. But Halloween is a time when any people love to dress up. And if you're heading to your first party and you've never been before, it's a fun way to add that Halloween spirit, whether you're going to the Oogie Boogie Bash or Mickey's Not-So-Scary Halloween Party, right?
I was going to say, in my experience, because people may want to know this is not scientific at all. Like I said, we've been to a lot of these, like more than 10. And I would say it's around 50-50. Maybe it's 60-40 or 40-60.
I would say it's 60-40.
But it's roughly, right, within a few percentage points, half and half.
Well, it depends what you consider a costume.
And let's get into that, because that really, that affects a lot of things if you're a traveler.
There's a lot of variety. There are people in head to toe. They would not be allowed to wear this because they'd be confused as a character during the regular day. Wigs, makeup, boots, full-length, realistic dresses.
Yeah, we've seen some amazing princesses.
There's you that likes to show up with a lanyard and a camera and say you're a tourist dad, right?
Yeah, so
there's definitely some variety to
so let's break this down.
How specific the costumes get.
First, there's two things to consider here. So first, let's talk about full costume. And full costume is you are actually dressing up in a costume. That means you're trying to be something. And it doesn't have to be Disney. I mean, obviously there are a lot of Disney theme, but you'll see other famous pop culture things, famous celebrities. You'll see Harry Potter stuff. You'll see everything, but there are full costumes. Now, there are a couple of things to remember when you're talking about full costumes for you and your kids, if there are kids in your party. A, when are you going? These parties start right now in August.
That's a really good point.
And if you're going in August or even early September, it can be very, very hot, even at night and or also a little bit wet.
That's a great point, especially because if you've ever been to Florida in the summer, you know there's a 95% chance every single day of your life that it is going to rain. A lot of the time, it's not that it will necessarily be raining during the party, but the grounds are probably still wet. Maybe there's a couple things that still have the raindrops on them. The humidity.
Well, we had that one year where you had a friend with you, and I remember
that was a little rough.
We were at Disney World. We were at the Contemporary. We were at Contempo Cafe, and it was a black cloud and pouring
rain.
Super cool for Halloween spirit, but we were wondering, is this party? And this is when the party was supposed to start. It did end up going. That was the year they were a little disorganized.
Probably because of the massive black cloud, maybe.
But that was hot, sweaty, and wet. So here's the other thing. At Disney World, if you're going in August, the candy's frozen, right? They freeze the candy. So when you start getting it, if you notice it's even cold.
Which I find so funny.
Yeah, it's good. It's otherwise you would have a melty mess. So they keep the candy frozen before they give it out, which is pretty. They didn't always do that. They only started that in the last few years. I
kind of like the taste of like the frozen chocolate.
Maybe climate change. I don't know, but
I'm not gonna lie, I like it.
That's a little aside for you. You may get frozen chocolate bars if they feel cold. That's why. So if you're going in those parties, you may want to consider how heavy your costume is going to be because it is still hot and sticky at night. The other thing, no matter when you go in a full-on costume is, are you going to go on rides or not? If you're not, go for it. If you are, bear in mind what you can and cannot ride depending on your costume.
Also just like how comfortable your costume is.
And comfort.
Especially one year I wore a dress where there was, a glittery situation on the top and putting my arms down in the heat and it was rubbing and it was super humid out. And I think that was the same year as the rain. Was just not a fun experience, and I don't recommend that.
Yeah, so there's that comfort level.
Be aware of the fabric and also what your costume is made out of. Exactly, but if it's 100% polyester, if it's one of those thin kids' usual costumes where it's just the one layer
from Spirit Halloween
of thin polyester, that's fine. But if it's a heavy, oak situation, multiple layers, thick fabrics, and it's a lot of polyester, just be aware of that.
And you're gonna,
as well.
If you're gonna have to take off wings, one year you were a fairy or something. What were you? You had wings. You were an angel. We purposefully bought sort of small collapsible wings to go on like Space Mountain and things like that.
And Tron.
Where I don't know if Tron was open that year.
But I think it was like the first year.
But same idea. Open. So consider what you're going to have to take off to go on rides. If you don't want to go on rides and just want to meet characters and get candy, then that's a whole different thing. But the point is, consider that in your costume making. The other part of this is, so time of year, type of costume. The other thing is what I like to do, as Amelia was sort of getting at. Some people Disney bound. So
yeah.
But the other thing is, you don't even have to be in costume. Like cast members and other guests love when you get into the Disney spirit. We sell quite a few things. I'll link them in this article that are not quite a few, but some things that are Halloween themed. Yeah, that's absolutely. Another way to go.
I think the older I get, the more I lean towards doing that way. It's just like a lot of effort.
I don't like to be in full costume.
To walk around in a full costume is kind of a lot.
So I just wear my shorts. But if you have a T-shirt, it's a Haunted Mansion shirt or a Hocus Pocus.
Mickey ears that are specific Halloween-y design Mickey like ears. I do.
You can buy them there even. So some little T-shirt, sweatshirt, hoodie, depending on when you're going, accessorizing. That's another way to be in the spirit without wearing a full costume. So that is definitely doable. Cast members still love it. If you put in even the most minor effort, it's part of the fun of the whole thing, dressing up that way.
Exactly. It doesn't have to be a huge, elaborate shebang. And, beware of your children might try and do exactly what I did, where, they have an actual Halloween costume, but then they also need a separate Disney Halloween costume. So now you're buying 2 or possibly even more different Halloween costumes because of the Disney Halloween party. So just to warn you about that might be a side effect of booking this.
And the other thing, obviously, when we're talking about full costumes is if you're traveling, your luggage.
Yeah.
Right? So think about, that was also
really
those wings.
Point.
They fit in a small suitcase because they collapse nicely. Just Amazon wings, but they worked for the costume. We measured sizes.
I think they turned out good.
So all those things to consider. Yes, you can dress up. Yes, you should dress up. Yes, you can just wear a themed T-shirt or sweatshirt or hoodie, depending on when you're going. If you're going closer to Halloween, it might be cooler, which is always nice. I don't think we've ever done that. I think we've always done.
It's always been the end of
the
August.
Warm weather parties at Disneyland and Disney World. So bear all those things in mind. Have fun with your costume. Check the guidelines. Consider when you're going. Consider if you have to pack it. And consider whether you want to go full board or matching family outfits, whatever it is. But you know what? Themed, scary, or funny t-shirt is also very good. You'll feel good either way.
Yeah, of course. As long as literally wear anything black. I know you own black. Wear anything black. Wear orange if you have it. Anything in like the gray, purple, black, orange kind of color scheme. You're good.
Yeah, you might want to not be like the big, huge cardboard dice or stuff like that. I don't know if they'd stop you for that because they're going to definitely want to look under it. So be prepared.
Yeah, I know, that's a good point.
Consider what they're going to look for at the gates.
Can you fit through a metal detector? That's a big question.
Yeah, common sense at the gates. All right, everyone, there you have it. Hope you have fun. They are super fun. We really like the Halloween parties. If you're even on the fence about going, we would say go. I mean, I would you?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, they're lots of fun and you'll have a good time for sure. So feel good either way. Like costume, even there are people with no costumes and that's okay too, but even a tiny bit of effort really goes a long way. All right, everyone. Thanks as always for listening. Follow along on social media at 1923 Main Street. Visit the shop at 1923mainstreet.com. We will see you again next week. And as always, roam freely and wear bold.
Bye-bye.